week where we have the healing and deliverance that is started on Monday and of course to close on Friday, 4th of July 2025. I want to thank you for being a good Christian but also being inspired by a healthy program. And of course tonight we want to talk about the impact of the health community outreaches. We've seen different initiatives by different health groups including Rotary clubs, including even here at Makerere Gospel Church last time we had the Young Workers Medical Camp, among others, and now we want to demystify the complexities. Why do people actually benefit from the community outreaches, or how do these medical outreaches empower the community's livelihood, thus reducing the disease's prevalence? And of course I'll be joined by Dr. Gaba. He's an OB from Montiera High School, and they have run this initiative for the second time. And of course, they want to inform the public. They want to tell the government of Uganda that they can do better, that they can reciprocate this, that this can be done all environments and communities in Uganda, and especially inspiring the people from different schools across the country to go back and give back the communities, because we shall not wait for the Ministry of Health to deliver to each and every person in the country. And of course, a few statistics that indicate that 1 in 4 Ugandans have hypertension. Of course, this question relies in your mind. Who is at a risk of getting hypertension? You all know that 8 in 10 Ugandans who have diabetes are not actually aware that they have diabetes. And of course, such education awareness campaigns, screening in the communities, they empower the communities, and of course they create awareness about such prevalent non-communicable diseases. Dr. Gaba, can you introduce yourself to our viewers and tell them your name and who you are and where you're from, so that we can begin off our hot discussion tonight of community health impact outreaches?
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, my name, I'm Gaba Storwat. I'm a medical doctor. Storwat. I'm a medical doctor. I'm finishing my placement at Marago Hospital actually this month, and I'm happy to be with you here.
Thank you so much.
I'm an OB of Montiera High School, Chitunga, part of the team that is leading the community outreaches in schools.
Excellent, excellent. So what do you think the community health outreaches are very important in the whole communities of Uganda? We've seen that the health-seeking behavior in Uganda is very low. You find that if a person has come to you as a doctor, maybe the person is very sick, right? But the community health impact outreach, maybe they might have diagnosed this condition before they come to the hospital. Give us these 5 reasons why you think that reaching out to the communities, just like Rotary Club does it, just like here at Makerere Gospel Church last year had a medical camp, is better than actually waiting to go to the hospital.
Okay, thank you very much. I will begin with a story of my personal experience.
Please do.
Like 1 year ago, I was volunteering at the Health Center for Kodoroko, Health Center for Inibanda. And me and I organized my team. We entered some villages. One of the villages was called Nyakatoche in Ibanda, deep there in the village. We went there, we just managed to raise some funds, just a minimum about 100,000.
100,000?
100,000. We bought glucose sticks. We had a glucometer
for the blood sugars.
Then we had our BP machine from the hospital
for free.
So we entered the community Nyakatoche, and we started taking random blood sugar for people in Nyakatoche, and we started taking their blood pressure. To your surprise, almost we got like 100 patients. The patients
for free? You were moving from house to house?
We told one of the VHTs to organize the community so that when we reach there, we find some people waiting for us. When we entered the community, we did other BS, and we took the blood pressure. We got 20 and diagnosed the diabetic patients out of 100.
Wow. 20 people
with
just moving from one house to another
and diagnosed, and some of them it was very bad. Some would be, I think, would be coming to the hospital in a few days time. So with the diabetic ketoacidosis, as you can know,
and other complications, damage,
of course, damage. that one is what brings most of the patients to our hospitals. They come when they are having irreversible organ damages. So going into the community makes us make the diagnosis earlier. When someone actually do you know that diabetic is reversible when it is discovered early?
Yes,
just exercises and nutrition education nutritional education. If you add just nutrition and you do exercises, if it is still early, it is reversible. But even hypertension, it is reversible at another stage. So how will we know these are the non-communicable diseases that are becoming the heaviest burden in our health system now. So how shall we protect our communities? How shall we say that we are to achieve the sustainable development goals if we only treat complications of these diseases rather than preventing the
exactly. So number one one benefit of the community health impact is that it helps people to get diagnoses of the non-communicable diseases early enough. And of course, number two, you've highlighted about the impact, saying that it reduces the burden of the complications.
Actually, I think it will in future. Actually, one of the topic we were talking about to community outreach is in relationship to what? It's sustainable development goals,
especially health and well-being. SDG 3.
SDG 3 is health and well-being of the community, and if SDG 1 is no poverty. Actually, we want to eliminate poverty by 2030.
Zero hunger.
Number 2, zero hunger. So SDG 1, which is zero poverty, you cannot be. Do you know it takes one of my professors said it takes one orthopedic emergency to bring you from a middle income state for someone as your home as a middle income person to poverty. Just you are there with your
one
millions,
like this.
you just get to fracture femur and you spend like 100 million in the hospital. Just you are no longer working, you lose your job. Some private jobs, they cannot allow you to remain there. Then you lose your what? You find one orthopedic emergency makes you become poor. So as long as there is no good health, you cannot be rich.
Very true.
Health and wealth, they go concurrently.
So community health impact reduces the burden by empowering the individuals to practice self-care. You know, July is also Self-Care Awareness Month. And of course, July has a lot of events, has World Sickle Cell Day, World Hepatitis B, and of course, very many health events. And of course, we would want actually to call upon the Ugandans to take part in such events. So now, what is the relationship between the community health impact and the sustainable development goals? Can they relate us to one? Because number one is that we are talking about socio-economic transformation. I've seen the president always talk about this on his agenda plan. Almost every speech. He talks about socio-economic transformation. I think it's why actually PDM came on board. Kind of give us an impact where you think that the involvement of the household people at the community level improves their socio-economic well-being.
Okay. So, let me first define the meaning of some brief history of the Sustainable Development Goals. You know, the UN has been setting targets and giving those targets to the member states. Most targets are considered achievable if those states become disciplined and actually,
if they don't misuse the money.
If the targets are considered achievable because they are simple targets, but which are very
heavy,
influential, which affect the population to a very great extent. So there were Millennium Development Goals in 2000, which
we are transitioning to sustainable.
In 2015, then they changed to sustainable development goal, which was more broad and involving, actually adoptable by many countries, including the developing countries and the developed countries,
including Uganda.
Uganda. So in 2015, we started the Sustainable Development Goals, which is there are 17 goals which are supposed to be achievable by 20 what? So I can't go into details of the goals, but
focus on a few.
But the most important ones in our topic today is good health, which is SDG 3. Of course, as I've told you, health and money go together. So SDG 1 is also there, which is no poverty, no poverty in 2030. Then SDG 2 is no hunger. You shouldn't be having anyone with hungry.
You should be satisfied. Are you satisfied already?
I'm satisfied for me, but I know there are some people who are not satisfied.
Of course.
So in so how the community outreaches will help us achieve these
Sustainable
SDGs.
development goals.
One, good health, of course. When we go into the communities, most of the times you find we have some medicines which we have collected as groups. For example, at Montiera as OBs we collect some funds, we buy some medicines which are not very expensive, by the way, because the essential drugs are not very expensive. Then we go to the community. Last time we went there, we got 700, more than 800 people who attended that community outreach program.
And of course, many people went with the different diagnoses.
Most of those people managed to see a doctor. Some were diagnosed newly with these non-communicable diseases. Others had their infectious diseases, STIs, some with chronic PIDs, infection, ulcers, and diagnosed. So, chronic ulcers, when you don't treat ulcers, it can risk some gastric cancer. And
esophageal cancers.
That's how. So when we reached there, with just small funds raised by the OBs of Montiera, we managed to see the people. First, so the main advantage. First advantage is that those people manage to get cheap health care, actually free health care.
It is free.
People when they...
I've seen Rotary also pulls monies from their own enterprises and they bring people on board. For example, last time we went to Tororo. We spent there 3 days and of course the services are completely free, including dental, nutrition, doctor, whatever. And people, of course, over like 2,000 people turned up actually from different countries, away from Tororo even region.
Actually, as you know, there is a source in... If you know about primary health care, there is community participation. When the community knows that we are participating in this, there is a way it also empowers them to be more responsible about their own health, their own health. You understand? So now, when most of the marketing of that program, advocating for it, informing the community, it was done by the community members. So the community members felt empowered, and as you are feeling empowered, you know that am I that important in the health system? So I'm helping my neighbor, I'm helping this. If they see me now drinking and boiled water, when I'm telling them that we should go to Montiera and we run, we should do this and the good health practices. What will they see when they see me as a PhD who is telling them practicing the opposite? Understand? So community outreaches empowers the community members
and the community members.
And the third point, other diagnosis, then empowering. The third point is that for example, as who go in school, there is role modeling. You understand? So
you imitate
those
and
those digits. That is education. Education is SDG number 4, right?
I think so.
As education. So when they see that the doctors are having a very important role, they are playing a very important role in the community. Maybe I should also be like one of them. And another thing, if these girls, most of them, they tend to drop out of school when they get pregnant, because first of all, they don't know how to protect themselves from unwanted pregnancies. So if we educate them about why the importance of protecting themselves, knowing their menstrual hygiene, all those basic points, they will not drop out of schools. That's the SDG 4 attained. Education.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Gaba. And of course, for the viewers who just joined us, we are discussing about the role of the impact and the impact of the community health outreaches, and especially in Uganda. We're looking at what can we do as the government is trying to come through for us and offer us the best services. However, we are still seeing that if a community is empowered through such communities, health work is usually actually enhanced. Talk about non-communicable diseases in Uganda.
Okay, thank you. The non-communicable diseases, as you are hearing, they are diseases which communicate with, like, from communication, which don't spread from one person to another. The most common non-communicable diseases in Uganda are hypertension and diabetes.
And
Of course, there are others like cancer. I'm focusing more on hypertension and diabetes because for them they are almost like 90% they are preventable. Most cancers are, except cervical cancer, most of them they are non-preventable except for, but for these non-communicable diseases they are preventable. The hypertension and diabetes. So the hypertension is, I think, the most common, then followed by diabetes. Among the non-communicable diseases, then cancers also.
Okay. Highlight more about the role of the community outreach's impact in diagnosing this. What are the signs and symptoms actually? How do you educate the public about hypertension and diabetes? Give us a simple follow-up of how we impact the communities in such way, so that when the people are watching us, they can actually quickly tell, because you've said the impact or the magnitude of these issues are growing as a concern every day.
Okay, thank you. How to know that the best time to go and test for your pressure is in now, when you are not having any symptom.
Okay.
You understand that the initial part of the pathogenesis of hypertension is asymptomatic. You remain asymptomatic.
You don't show any
symptom. So the best thing is to go to a nearby clinic or health center. You take your blood pressure. You know, every after 2 months or 3 months, you go there and you take your blood pressure, so that you know your blood pressure, you know your random blood sugar, so that if it is changing, you can discover when it is early. Then if you want to be diagnosed later, then you wait for palpitation. Start hearing you do some small activity, you feel the heart is beating very loudly, very fast. You are feeling the heartbeat, palpitations. Then is a fatigability. That means you are now getting complications of what? Of hypertension. It is now trying to kill your heart. Okay. So now the best time is to diagnose when you are asymptomatic. Okay. Then for hypertension, the signs and symptoms. For diabetes, the signs and symptoms. Diabetes has different two types.
You can just give the overall, especially type 2 that is common in the public.
Okay. For type 2, it is mostly diagnosed by complications. Unlike type 1. Type 1 comes early because you over-urinate, you get over satiety a lot. You are, when we call it polydipsia. You get most of them, they come with decay. It comes and it puts you down, and you come to the hospital and they diagnose it. So most of the type 1 patients come without complications. But for type 2, which is the most common and which is lifestyle associated, it presents. It's also like a slow killer. Okay. You are there with your you drink water. You have never tested it until it has started damaging the kidneys. It has started damaging you see the urine output has reduced. You see, most of the time it presents with complications. Okay. It also can present with acidosis.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Gabas Terwat. We want to thank you for watching Good Data Vision. And of course, not forgetting that we're live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and of course, X or Twitter. And of course, we want to invite you to always come in with your comments and share expertise. And of course, especially for the people who are reaching out to communities to offer free services. We've seen different organizations going to slum areas, especially here, like Kasokoso, Katanga, Kamocha, and very many other places. But also we've seen many other organizations like Rotary Club International involved in different health activities. And of course, even we've seen blood donation drives. We want to thank you. All that creates an impactful, meaning community. We want to take a short quick break, but in time we shall discuss more about the challenges that these people are facing. And of course, you do not need to leave Google Data Vision.
Good Day TV, transforming your life. Pastor Pasteri Music Center, located along Chagwe Road on Serwaniko Music Plaza, shop number B4 in Justine Arcade, shop number G73, next to Chiseka Market, brings you all music and audio equipment and electronics like brass band items, including drums, saxophones, trombones and cornets, top speakers, bass beams, amplifiers, digital mixers, guitars, flat TV screens, keyboards, domestic lights and stage lights, cord and cordless microphones, studio monitors, sound cards, and all recording studio equipment. For deliveries and orders from abroad, call Pastor Pasteri on 0752 008 443 or 0782 008 443. Pastor Pasteri Music Center.
Tosubwa ku Gugudde TV.
Abagalwa abalungi, erinnya lya Mukama waffe Yesu Kristo lyebazibwe nnyo. Mbalamusizaako, amannya gange nze Kasozi Robert Cephas. Mbanjulira programu ennungi mwogenda okuyita okusisinkana Kristo, okwateko bisuubizo, osumululwe, owangule, eyitibwa You Can Be Delivered. Ngekutusibwako obuweereza obwa Raising David's Tabernacle Ministries wano ku Gugudde TV. Buli lwa Sande okutandika essaawa 5 ez'ekiro, n'olwokusatu okutandika essaawa 3 ez'akawungeezi tugendanga kubeera wamu. Oludde mu bulwadde, olinayo ebintu byonna ebyekutawaanya wadde nga walokoka, olinayo ebintu ebyo nga obisabidde naye nga bigaanyi, oba nsonga ya birooto, ng'ebirooto bikufuukidde ebirooto tobitegeera, ogezezzaako eno n'eno. Programu eno egenda kubeeramu essuubi, ekyokuddamu, okuwangula, okubotola mu maka, mirimu n'ebirala bingi. Kale nkusaba onneegatteko wano ku Gugudde TV. Akaseera ako kagenda kuba kakusumululwa. Nkulinze, Mukama akutwere omukisa. Tosubwa programu eno.
Gugudde TV, transforming your life.
Watching Gugudde Television. This is Health and Beauty program with me, Kamara Daniel. I want to thank you for loving Gugudde Television and its Christian programs. Just like I often tell you that we are here because we want you to be very productive in your communities. The first often say that when you're empowered from your household level and the community at large, just know we are going to shift from the low economic country status to a middle income status, just like we often see, and just like want to be like other developed countries. We are streamed live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Of course, you can follow up our discussion all the time. You can also catch it up all the time at your convenience. And of course, we are still talking about the impact of the community outreaches. We do not want to neglect the power of the health education promoters. We don't want to neglect them. That's why we are here saying thank you to all organizations, the Ministry of Health, the Cancer Institute, the Heart Institute. They have done a lot. The JCRC, they have moved in almost every place of Uganda, trying to reach out to different people, screening out for tuberculosis. You've all seen the new HIV rate has increased in Uganda. That means that we need to intensify the role of the community health outreaches. The health educators, we need to intensify and demystify a few complexes and so much stories behind here. But of course, I still have Dr. Gaba from Montier High School. He's discussing with us how has been able to change the communities in Tungama district just using simple monies available. He shared us a story about how he used 100,000 just to reach out to a community of 100 people. And no one paid for this service, but he feels the gratitude of serving the communities. You can be like him. I can be like him. Yes, the spaces are there. So start from wherever you are because the communities really need this service. Dr. Agaba, okay, what are some of those challenges that you people are facing when you are offering these free services to the communities?
Of course, the first challenge is shortages, especially in funds, because yes, if we are to provide quality services, we need adequate laboratories, You need like at least CBC also. So you find sometimes you need some good funds. So when you run shortage of funds, you find sometimes the adequate management would want to give to those people. It's not feasible. But it's a good starting point to the health system. It is part of the primary care. When you assess and you see that this one actually needs further assessment, you can send them to the hospital. Then another thing is that sometimes some members who actually need the services more, they tend to remain. Some are bedridden, they tend to remain home. You find if you have organized, let's meet at this school, let's meet here. Some don't come at this church.
Others have
others don't come.
They have their own issues.
And another thing, especially men, the health-seeking behavior is quite lacking.
Very low. So what are you doing about men? Because now if you say that the health-seeking behavior for men is very low, what are you doing around this? Because we need men on table, we no longer want them on the menu. What are you going to do for the men? Men watching us live on Google Data Vision, what appeal to you that you should come to seek healthcare services?
Actually, there's a research topic I'm working on. It is, I want to see whether we can use men-friendly services like saloons to diagnose those non-communicable diseases. We can put BP machines in some saloons. You go in a salon, you first take a bath. Even in the bars, you find you enter the bar, they say, you come and first take your blood pressure.
No, you know that these bars where you enter and other churches, churches, let's use a church, because people can easily actually comply.
Yeah.
Before they enter, you take blood pressure.
Yeah, you can. That's how I think that one can work. You use men-friendly services, but men, are they friendly? Are they going to the churches?
Yes, men are attending churches actually.
Yeah.
Have you not been to church?
Me, I go there. But actually, for me, I also go to the hospital to test. But we are targeting those men that
who are left behind.
They don't go to church. They don't go to the hospital. They say they think it is for like a weak thing. They think it is women maybe going to the hospital when you are not sick, but it is not actually. It is a strength. Going to test to know your health status is not weakness. It is strength.
Okay. Wow. So what is your call to the public, especially for men, when they hear a call from a certain organization inviting them for free service? What's that advice that you are giving to men? First, list for us some of the diseases that are common in men that can be diagnosed at a community level, away from diabetes and hypertension. Okay,
thank you. One of the commonest actually diseases in men actually that affects them the most is BPH. It can be it is prostate cancer above 60, most in men above 65, 50, actually just 45. You are at the risk. The risk increases exponentially. So those are the tests that can be examined on by clinical without that can be actually the initial the preliminary diagnosis can be made just there in the clinical room. Digital exam, you feel the ramp, you know that this one is likely to be having this prostate cancer, and you go and do further tests. And it is when it is discovered early, you live your whole life. If it is discovered late, when it has already metastasized to the back, you die young.
So men should be.
So men should. That is one of the conditions that can be diagnosed in those outreaches. Then there is, of course, there are these infectious diseases also. TB, HIV.
TB is common in men. I was about to ask you, why is TB common in men? I haven't seen many women having TB.
One of the risk factors is smoking. Some men smoke or drink alcohol, which somehow compromises their immunity. You understand? So they are in bars, they are coughing, they are drinking, smoking.
They are sharing
sharing the bacteria also.
Wow. So you are still calling upon the public to embrace the community health outreaches. Still call them.
Okay. What I can tell the public is that when you hear an opportunity, when an opportunity knocks at your door, that you come and we give you free health services or even cheap health services, don't miss that opportunity, because you never know. It may be God's way of talking to you. If you miss the opportunity, sometimes the cost may be very heavy, because you may find that this thing would have been diagnosed at this point. Some people have the cancers, you find a bone tumor. When it is discovered early, you remove the tumor, you remain with your limb. Discovered late, you lose the limb or the life. Those are the things you can easily that most doctors don't miss, but people don't seek those chief actually free health services.
Okay. In your capacity as a doctor, what is the seeking behavior in these community health-based camps for young people, especially at adolescents?
From my experience, in the last year's camp at Montreal High School, we had a lot of adolescents coming for the services. Partly because it was at the school. I think our adolescents find it easier to go to school to seek care services, I think. Another thing, but at the health centers, and I worked at the health center for some time back, and the health behavior of adolescents was very low. That's why I think their camps can be helpful.
To capture
especially if you involve adolescents in
calling upon the public awareness. Okay. How about what are some of those conditions that have been seen in the young people? In the young people, yes, the young people, especially the 18, the 15 to 24. What are some of the health conditions that you want to caution the public about to avoid, but also always be in the hospitals for screening?
Okay, thank you. The adolescents, one of the commonest conditions, of course, they are infectious diseases, sexually transmitted infections. Those ones are very common in the adolescents. Then also these like TB, like HIV, those ones are also very common. Then for females, you need pregnancy. That is one of the most common finding in adolescents.
Not planned for it.
Unplanned pregnancies. Yeah, so the reason why outreaches can be important in combating those problems is they are educated. Also, adolescents can get hypertension, by the way. I've seen some. They can also get diabetes, especially diabetes type 1. Commonly, it is called a juvenile diabetes. It is mostly in adolescents.
Okay.
But generally, generally young people are protected by God. That age between 10 to 35, that is what we call the people we call youth. Most of them, they don't. That's why we don't have a specific speciality targeting that population, because they are energetic. Yeah, but there are also conditions that they should also be aware of, especially those STIs and reproductive health.
Okay. Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Gaba. Let's talk about the senior citizens. Your dad, is your dad a senior citizen? Has he made 65 years?
My dad is in 50s.
Okay, talk about the senior citizens. What's your call for them? And of course, in embracing the community health outreaches and how they can participate fully.
The senior citizens, actually, I appreciate them because they are good at health seeking. They have good health seeking behavior, especially if you make this announcement like we are coming to your community. Most of them, you find they come early. Wow. At Montreal, we had a lot of people with eye problems, others with those non-communicable diseases. So, senior citizens, I really appreciate you for your good health, embracing those outreaches and making them successful. And I call upon those who remain home to also cope from those people and also start enjoying those services.
Okay. Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Gawa. I want you to call upon the public, calling upon the government, the policymakers. What's your opinion when we integrate community health outreach programs into the usual running health programs? Like each facility moves to each community for screening of these diseases, not targeting, not waiting actually for you people.
Actually, what you're saying,
You call upon the policymakers.
for the policymakers, I think the policy is there because we are actually Uganda adopted primary health care when it came. We are using primary health care. We have VHTs. We only that the implementation is the one lacking, but the policy is there. Health center are supposed to be reaching to the community, but they are not doing so. Yeah,
I think because of money.
partly because of what? Of funding.
And the population is too much.
The population, there's a very big health worker to patient ratio, but partly is that we are the policymakers, especially the people dealing with budget, they are undermining the health system. Maybe they are not aware of the importance of health towards the economy. Why the Accra Convention, African Union decided ordered every country to contribute 14% of their GDP, of their budget, to health. And many African countries have not adopted that declaration, that decision that was made in that African Union summit. Because a healthy community is a rich community.
Very much.
Uganda, I appreciate what we are doing. We are trying our best. We are not lagging behind. Actually, Uganda in 2016 we had maternal mortality rate of 336 per 100,000. In 2025, it is now 189. That is a very big, but it's still very high.
We are doing somehow.
We are the global average is 70. We are still, it is still very high, but it is we have moved a very big step.
Okay.
In the right
So what
direction.
are you calling upon the government for us to do? To increase the budget?
Increase the budget of especially
Health promotion.
health promotion, the community health parts of the public the community health parts of the Ministry of Health, prevention and health promotion, just health promotion services, teaching people how to prevent, providing people with good, safe water, educating them about these infectious diseases, about reproductive health issues, generally reaching to the common man and teaching the preventive ways. Yeah, now, let's not just focus on the curative medicine.
Okay.
Let's also focus on the what? On the preventive medicine. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. What is your last call for action? Give us your last closing remarks.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I appreciate that you have called me on this program, Mr. Kamara, and thank you for always Actually, we call you the nutritionist, yeah, because you are always focusing on advising people to how they should feed, how the proper way of feeding. How actually it is the most important medicine. How you feed affects how you
You live.
how you live, whether you are healthy or not. That's how you see Ronaldo, a football player, playing at the top level at 40, when some people are already down here, because at 40 most people are already having big tummies and what.
Okay.
If you feed well and you do exercises, you are likely to live very healthy.
Wow. Thank you so much for watching Guguda Television. Of course, this health and beauty program is here Wednesday at 9 p.m. with me, Kamara Daniel. I hope to see you next Wednesday. And of course, we've been discussing a lot of good information about the community health impact. And of course, we shall keep on discussing about how you can best access your healthy and community impact outreaches. And of course, we want to appreciate all organizations. And of course, on behalf of Good Data Vision, I want to invite you to our weekly delivery services that are going on here every day from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. here at Makerere Gospel Church. I am Kamara Daniel. I hope to see you again. Bye-bye.